50 games, right. So this is my top 50 favorite games of all time. And yeah, so top games of all time. This video is very hard for me to do. It's very hard for me to do because lots of games, taking games out of the rankings, putting games back in the rankings, replacing games. And yeah, so this is going to be top 50. So I'm starting from 50, 49, and I'm going all the way down to 1. And please like and subscribe and share the video all over. So number 50 is going to be Alan Wake 1. Alan Wake 1, right, for its impressive, immersive, adventure style gameplay, right, and that kind of semi-horror style I like to the game. And yeah, a light is very important, like in the game, saving up batteries, resources against the dark entities coming after you. And yeah, lots of ambiguous clues in the world. And yeah, number 49 is SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob SquarePants, right? This was one of my first 3D platformers or 3D adventure style games, right? And then this is based on the movie. Very fun, lots of different platforming, right? Action gameplay, right? Races. There's even races, time trials, and yeah, and it has a very nice art style to it. I feel like SpongeBob, I can recommend checking it out. My number 48 is going to be Halo 3. Very fun science fiction shooter, right? And Halo, one of the most popular shooters like of all time. And yeah, a suspenseful action pack, right? And a multiplayer is super addicting, all those things. But Halo 3, I highly recommend it, like if you're looking for that fun shooting game. And yeah. Number 47 is Flat Out Head On for the PSP. A very fun action, a racing game like for the PSP, and it's very impressive graphics wise like for the PSP. And yeah, arcade mode, challenge modes, right? And as you get further into the game, you get better classes like of cars, faster cars, etc. Customization to it is pretty cool. And yeah, has the fun, sports, kind of implements cars like with sports. And yeah, but yeah, it is a very fun game. Number 46 is Devil May Cry 5. DMC 5, right? Play as 3 different characters, right? I like the action gameplay, the combat, right? Bloody Palace, that's what I mainly played for. The boss battles, the music, the soundtrack, right? And especially Dante, right? Dante is probably the most OP in this one. And yeah, through DLC you can also play as Virgil. And yeah, he's also pretty OP. Number 45 is Mafia 2. So Mafia 2, 1940s, 50s, Italian mafia, a crime drama, a game. Mafia 2 has very impressive game mechanics, physics, right, in terms of driving, the shooting, right, and as well for the 2010 game, right, has very impressive visuals and graphics. And yeah, and the voice acting done very well. The open world it's pretty good, right? And yeah, but a Mafia 2, if you like that Mafia style game, I recommend it. Number 44 is going to be Midnight Club 2. My first racing game I ever played. Very suspenseful racing game. And you gotta, every race you do, you have to be in first place. So you gotta play the game like you're at perfection, yeah, right? So yeah, but as you go from different cities, LA to Paris to Tokyo, the style of the races change, right? And you have to adapt how you approach the different areas. And yeah, music, one of my favorite soundtracks in the game. And yeah, but Midnight Club 2, if you're on PS2, I recommend checking it out. Number 43 is going to be Horizon Zero Dawn. So this one combines prehistoric kind of humans with futuristic machinery. And yeah, allows for a very interesting story, a pretty dense open world, right? Upgrades, right? This is the complete edition, so it comes with the DLC, right? The Frozen North DLC, whatever it's called.
Where that came from.
Lots of different elemental bows you can build, right, from electricity, fire, ice. You can even hack into the robots via override ability. And yeah. Now 42 is going to be Nier Automata. Nier Automata, very calming style, to the gameplay. Also as well, philosophical, but I like the soundtrack. The orchestra is done so well in this game. And yeah, and the action, the combat flow is very well as you play through the game. And yeah, as you get to understand the characters' motivations, and you can upgrade things as in the semi-RPG style. And yeah, but I like the combat. I really like the combat, the boss battles, the boss sequences. Number 41 is Doom Eternal. So Doom Eternal, fast-paced action first-person, right? A first-person shooter, right? glory killing, right? I love the enemy design, the art style like of the world, right? The weapons, so cycling through that weapon wheel, it is epic. Once you get like all the weapons and as well the power-ups. And yeah, this one does include more platforming compared to Doom 2016. So yeah, but Doom Eternal, right? If you're looking for a kind of fast-paced action shooter, I highly recommend it. Number 40 is gonna be Infamous Second Son. Infamous Second Son, if you like superpowers in games, I recommend checking this out. Coming out early, like in the PS4 generation, right? Even though the game is kind of short, but still, like once you get all of the powers, it's very cool to cycle through the different conduit abilities from smoke at the neon to video to concrete, and yeah, taking on the military bases, right? The DUP areas. Number 39 is gonna be Metal Gear Rising, right? For fast-paced action. Third-person action, right? Slice and dicing through enemies, right? Tearing out, spinal cords, and the spinal cords regenerate health. And yeah, very fast-paced. I love the soundtrack. In this game. The soundtrack in this game, it is amazing. It is very well done. And yeah, the boss battles, every boss, right, will have their own soundtrack. And the bosses, right, depend, you gotta learn the parrying, the dodging, and all that. But Metal Gear Rising as well, extra DLCs, so you can play as different characters, right? And yeah, like in these short DLC forms, there's also extra training modes, challenge modes, and yeah. Number 38 is going to be Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. I never played the original Crash Bandicoot, but I'm playing the remake. And then, so this is the remake of the original 3 games, right? So timing, a timing jump is very important, right? Very suspenseful. It is difficult. It is frustrating, but it is very fun. And each game, so this is a 3 games in 1 bonus. So each game is different in terms of difficulty for me. But, one is probably the hardest, 3 is the easiest, and then 2 is kind of, in the middle. But yeah, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, if you like, those suspenseful platformer games, I recommend checking it out. Now, number 37 is Just Cause 2, right? With the grappling hook, right? I remember growing up, I always wanted Just Cause 2. Because, you can literally fly planes in the game. Fly planes, fly jets, right? Tanks, attack helicopters, APCs, and yeah. But Just Cause 2, it is super epic. It is very epic in scale. And if you, if you're looking for a good, kind of open world game for the PS3 generation, I recommend checking it out. Number 36 is Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1, I put so many hours into, the multiplayer, and it's very suspenseful, immersive multiplayer. Right, World War One, right? So the weapons were very different, lots of semi-automatic weapons, and yeah. So you had to adjust your play style around that. And yeah, unlocking weapons, different, I love the maps. Right? The World War One tanks, the APCs, and yeah, the different uniforms. Yeah, Battlefield 1. 35 is Elden Ring. Elden Ring, right? Massive open world, endless exploration, lots of different builds you can choose to be. And yeah, this is like a From Software game, so it's gonna be frustrating. But there's so many things that in the world to see. Lots of things in the world to see. Lots of areas to explore. And yeah, Elden Ring, the enemy design. The enemy is probably the best enemy design like in a game, like in terms of enemy variety and designs that I've ever seen. But yeah, Elden Ring, right? And a very popular game of the year 2 years ago. Number 34, Burnout 3, which racing games for the PS2. Like, I recommend checking this out. Burnout 3 is it's a very easy game to binge, like in terms of it's very easy to play this game continuously. The crash, a crash challenges where you have to cause as much mayhem as possible, right? The races are pretty well done, right? The different cars, right? And graphically very impressive for the PS2 era, very impressive. And yeah, but Burnout 3 Takedown, I highly recommend checking it out. Number 33 is Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. So Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, one of the earliest PS5 games, right? And Rift Apart, I had to get this game. Once I got my PS5, I had to get this game. But Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, so this one sets up the different universes. So it brings in Rivet, as I know, this kind of parallel universe Ratchet. And yeah, but I like the weapons in the, and the world. Ratchet & Clank, always impressive for his weapons. The challenges, the arcades, the art style, beautiful visuals, and yeah, and the weapons, again, the weapons, they're amazing. Number 31 is going to be SOCOM 2. Probably the first shooting game I ever played. I like SOCOM 2 for its strategic action style gameplay. And the SOCOM, Alpha Team, Bravo Team, I like the different commands that you can give your team. And yeah, online is super addicting. And yeah, one of the best, third-person shooters, for PS2. Speaking of third-person shooters, number 30, Max Payne 3. In terms of like Hollywood, like if you like Hollywood action shootouts, I highly recommend Max Payne 3 or like any Max Payne game, but Max Payne 3 definitely, right? The slow motion ability, right? Slow mo bullet dodge ability, right? And yeah, you know, I like the different action sequences and ammo, right? You know, saving up ammo and a bullet shootout sequences, and yeah, right? And yeah, a Max Payne 3 as well, New York Minute, so you can replay every mission again, like, you know, via a New York Minute, right? Where you gotta be super fast, and yeah. Number 29 is Splinter Cell Blacklist. Splinter Cell Blacklist, my favorite stealth game of all time, because it gives you so many options. Lots of different options, right? From smoke grenades to sleep grenades to EMP grenades to, you know, portable cameras. And yeah, lots of different stealth options, right? Lethal takedown, non-lethal takedowns. The takedown animations, they are amazing. They are amazing in this game. And yeah, you know, the climbing animations as well, right? Lots of different content, main ops, side ops, Slicks versus Mercs, online stuff. And yeah, you know, very fun for trophy hunting as well. Number 28 is Uncharted 4. In terms of like action adventure sequences, Uncharted, you know, there's a great balance between the story, the action, and the adventure and the gameplay, right? It does such a great balance. In terms of voice acting and, you know, graphics, it's probably at the best at the time, 2016, right? This came out 2016. It's probably the best, like, you know, for the time. And yeah, but definitely Uncharted 4, right? If you like, you know, those things, like I recommend checking out Uncharted 4. Number 27 is Prototype 2, right? Superpower or superhero style games, right? Prototype 2, very underrated. But Prototype 2, you get so many powers, right? Superhuman durability, run up walls, run up buildings, right? You are super OP, especially once you get your upgrades. And yeah, mutations, they act as, you know, extra upgrades as well, or extra buffs. And yeah, there's side missions. This one has a lot more side missions than Prototype 1. Challenges as well. And, you know, in terms of like, you know, mods, so you can put like these cheat codes against the character and make him even more powered. Number 26 is Ratchet and Clank: A Crack in Time. I like how they split up Ratchet and Clank here, right? Making for a unique Ratchet and Clank experience. But in terms of all those things, right? Clank is more, you know, puzzle oriented. Ratchet is more like adventure, action oriented, and yeah. I love the weapons, as usual, Ratchet and Clank, right? Always known like for its unique weapons. And yeah, you know, space weapons, space lasers, and all those things. This one gave you the different, you know, explorable galaxies. So you could go to different, you know, sub-planets to gain more zony collectibles. Challenge modes as well, arena modes. And number 25 is going to be Dead Space Remake. Dead Space Remake, I don't know how this game didn't win any awards last year, but in terms of like immersion and scare, right, this game here like keeps me like on the edge of my seat constantly. Dead Space Remake, right? So, you know, managing your inventory is very important. The atmosphere is very scary. The necromorphs coming after you, trying to figure out what's going on between the marker, right, the infected, this kind of crazy cult, death cult or whatever, a unitologist. And yeah, you know, it's in space. In terms of space, right? Visual, a presentation like of space, it is amazing. Visually, sound, you know, all those things. But yeah, Dead Space Remake. Number 24 is Jedi Fallen Order. In terms of action adventure style, right? I highly recommend it. You know, Jedi Fallen Order, right? You know, I like the boss battles. I like, you know, the parry system. The combat feels solid. And yeah, you know, and this one does set up, it is a little different, like in terms of, you know, like in the Star Wars universe, right? It's more of like unknown Star Wars characters, but EA or Respawn did a great job, right? Making these lesser known characters feel like very immersive. And yeah, they did like a great job like in the voice acting. There's a backtracking in the game, explorable areas, right? Collectibles, upgrades, and yeah. Number 23 is Just Cause 3, right? Massive open world. Same reason why I love Just Cause 2. Just Cause 3 has better mechanics, better physics, and, you know, driving mechanics has been better. You know, the shooting has been better, and yeah, you know. Just Cause 3, the DLC, so you get the jetpack DLC, the mech DLC, right? You also get other things like in the game too as well, like, you know, you get different variations like with the grappling hook, and yeah, you know. So a constant fun, constant action, fast-pacedness. Number 22 is going to be King Kong. King Kong 2005 game. Probably the most immersive game like I ever played. Play as man, play as Kong. When you're a man, you're Jack, right? So it is more, it is really more about, this hunter-gatherer type of tribal gameplay, and yeah, saving up ammo, saving up sticks, fire, right, to burn down barriers. Kong is more of an action, right? This big-scale action game, right? So yeah, I really feel the action and the strength and the sheer power like of Kong. And yeah, it is a movie game. This one does expand back in the movie, right? But the movie does other things better, and the game does other things like in other areas better. But yeah, King Kong 2005. Number 21 is Call of Duty Black Ops. I always go back to it, mainly because of zombies. Zombies is super addicting, extremely addicting. I love zombies. From the different maps, Ascension, Call of the Dead, right? A Moon, right? You went to Kino, and yeah. Call of Duty Black Ops, right, as well. The campaign, I like the campaign, right? Probably my favorite Call of Duty campaign, right? The multiplayer as well, super addicting, right? And yeah, but a Call of Duty Black Ops, right? I always go back to it, always. So 20 is going to be Battlefield Bad Company 1. In terms of multiplayer game, this is my introduction to multiplayer games. And I was so lucky. I love this multiplayer. It's a shame EA shut down, at the servers. But Battlefield Bad Company 1, in terms of like, I felt very grounded. But the maps, I like the different maps. I like the different weapons. I like you could literally go in tanks, right, to attack, your opponents. And yeah, tanks, attack helicopters, APCs. And yeah, and the campaign, right? The campaign does, kind of like that out of place military story, but it is a very fun campaign, and seeing all the personalities clash. And yeah. Number 19 is Total War Attila. Total War Attila for the PC. I have it on the PC. So Total War Attila, in terms of like, it's like a battle simulator and like some sort of economy building simulator, right? Or, a civilization building simulator. So you have, Total War, it looks at like near the end, like with the Roman Empire, right? And near the end, but, Eastern Roman Empire, you got the Huns, lots of different factions. The Visigoths, right? The Ostrogoths, the Eastern Empires, and yeah. But in terms of like, scale of the game, right? The scale of the game, of the battles, it is pretty big, right? But really, like when you really look at it though, you gotta really know the different advantages, right? Between the different battle units, spearmen, cavalry, and all those things. RE4 remake, so a Resident Evil 4 remake. This is my number 18. RE4 remake for the same reason why I love Dead Space remake. But RE4 remake, right? In terms of like the weapons, I love the weapons in the game. The scale of the game, and the length of the game. You get a lot like for your money's worth here. And yeah, I never played the original RE4, but I would imagine it is just as epic like as this, right? And yeah, RE4 as well, Mercenaries mode. It's very fun arcade mode. The separated, what's it called? A Separate Ways DLC, where we play as Ada Wong. And yeah, but in terms of like, suspense, action, scare, right? It is very fun. Number 17 is going to be Ratchet & Clank Tools of Destruction. Tools of Destruction, right? In terms of weapons, this one probably has the best weapons in terms of all the Ratchet & Clank games. But Tools of Destruction, lots of different areas you into, lots of different planets you into, lots of replayability, lots of different arenas, right? And yeah, but Ratchet & Clank Tools of Destruction, I tell you, like, if you like Ratchet & Clank, this one will give you a lot. It gives you a lot, and yeah, Number 16 is Spider-Man 2018. In terms of adaptations, like superhero adaptations, right? This is probably like one of the best, right? But you can tell playing the game, Insomniac really understands Spider-Man. And yeah, so going into it too, the web swinging feels very solid. The web swinging, the combat feels solid, right? The different upgrades, the uniform sets, and yeah, and there's no paywall. It's just you play the game and to unlock uniforms, like a newer uniform sets, and yeah. But Spider-Man 2018, right? If you like superhero games, action, or just like Spider-Man, I highly recommend it. Number 15 is Last of Us. We're in the top 15. Last of Us Part 1. So at The Last of Us Part 1, right, in terms of immersion, adventure, like I highly recommend it. But, I just see, adventure, it's probably one of the best adventure style games like I played. Like you're in the zombie apocalypse, you feel very, isolated like in this world. And yeah, but the And then, a dynamic between Joel and Ellie, you can really feel it, and you really feel like their struggles as you get further into the game. And resource management very important, right? Managing ammo, health items, important quest items, and So Last of Us 1, and probably one of the most popular games of all time. Batman Arkham City. This is my number 14, Batman Arkham City, right? So another great superhero adaptations, but this one really gave you like the supervillains. So if you like Batman, right, it gave you lots of supervillains. Joker, Ra's al Ghul, Mr. Freeze, Clayface, Hugo Strange, and Batman Arkham City, right? And the combat is amazing. The flow for the combat, it is amazing, right? Whether, you're playing as Batman, Catwoman, Nightwing, Robin, and the challenge mode, so the Riddler challenges, so you can play as combat challenges, predator, stealth challenges, and but epic, just epic in scale, and a great graphics too, like for the time, a great visually, DLC content as well, uniform content. Arkham City, I highly recommend. Number 13 is Witcher 3. So Witcher 3, right, in terms of an RPG, this is probably the first RPG games like I played. But like the decision making like in the game, right, making certain certain points in the game, certain choices like are impacted higher, and the open world, the side missions, the main missions, right, the miscellaneous areas, and But Witcher 3, right, in terms of lots of different upgrades, the upgrade system is big. The inventory system, right, from potions to uniforms to quest items, and Number 12 is God of War Ragnarok, my most anticipated game of all time, right? God of War Ragnarok, right? Bigger scale compared to God of War 2018, right? But the story isn't as good, but still epicness, right? Epic opening, right? Epic in terms of scale, right? And I get to explore more areas, I see more characters, and But Ragnarok too as well, DLC content, Valhalla, right? Endgame content in various realms, and Number 11 is Ratchet & Clank 3. Ratchet & Clank 3, right? I love this game. I love this game a lot. PS2 games. It's one of the easiest games to binge through. But Ratchet & Clank 3, it is epic, right? I like the different epic weapons that you got, right? And lots of different variety out of the gameplay. Puzzles, arenas, time trials, right? Action gameplay, the adventure gameplay, like all very well done. And Ratchet & Clank 3 or Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal, I highly recommend it. Number 10 is going to be Returnal. So Returnal, one of probably the most suspenseful game like I ever played. In terms of suspense, difficulty, frustration. But man, Returnal, right? Once I unlock Atropos Towers, the Atropos Towers, oh my god, it is super addicting. Super addicting, right? This wave-like arcade mode, very addicting. But I like the different weapons in, a Returnal. It is a roguelike, so if you die, you get sent back to the, beginning. So there's always that sense of urgency. That sense of urgency, and you gotta be, perfect, like with every run. And but you actually learn, at the game better. Learning the pickups, the power-ups, the weapons, the enemies. The enemy designs are amazing. Enemy design and the sound design visually super amazing in this game. Number 9 is GTA 5. Everybody knows GTA, right? Probably the most popular franchise of all time. But GTA 5, right? I like the different playable characters. I like the world, the immersiveness, right? I really feel, at the real world playing at GTA 5. And memes, you get various memes, various jokes, right? Lots of different characters, lots of personality in the game. And GTA 5, you also have online, GTA Online, which is probably the longest running online ever, like super long. It's still running until this day. Number 8 is going to be God of War 2018. God of War 2018, so the reboot like of the God of War series. So Kratos is now like in Norse, mythology, and like there's this dynamic between him and his son, Atreus, and but seeing like how the dynamic between them evolves over time, and as well like the action adventureness like of the game, right? The various enemies, the new combat system and all that. But the game is very addicting, right? The adventure is very addicting to play through, and there's the axe and the brought back, the blades, and it's like a semi-open world style game, and all those things, and as well extra end game content, right? Niflheim, Muspelheim challenges. But God of War 2018, Mine is a blast to play, and one of my favorite, possibly my favorite PS4 game. Number 7 is Infamous 2, my favorite superhero game of all time, superhero game. In terms of, I love Infamous 2, right? Different electric abilities, upgrades, right? Lots of replayability because you can play as good, play as evil, and depending on if you're good or evil, your powers change. So the presentation of your powers will change, and certain powers will be unlocked to you. And yeah, but Infamous 2, highly recommend it, right? And the DLCs as well. The DLC where you play as a vampire, right? And yeah, this one improved can almost everything from Infamous 1. And yeah, I highly recommend it. Number 6 is Destroy All Humans 2. Destroy All Humans 2, right? I was actually thinking I could put this at 1. But it was very hard. This list is very hard to do. But Destroy All Humans 2, both the remake and the original. Lots of powers, right? Lots of things you can use. Jetpacking, lots of weapons. The fire ray, the Zap-O-Matic, the meteor gun, right? The ion detonator. And yeah, lots of character out of this game. Lots of funny dialogue. You're an alien. You can shape shift into people, right? More so like you phase into, other body and then you become them. And yeah, but epic. Destroy All Humans 2, epic. And yeah, and as well, replayability, lots of replayability. The game does have co-op, which you rarely see nowadays. So split screen co-op, right? And yeah, both the remake and the original. The remake added in more challenges, added objectives, and yeah. Number 5, so we're in the top 5 now. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2010. So my favorite racing game of all time. For the racing mechanics, the scale, right? And yeah, play as cop, play as racer, and each side has their own progression system. So you upgrade, you gain XP, or rep points, and to get more, to upgrade, right? And to get to the next level, and yeah, lots of challenges, lots of modes to choose from, and yeah, and as you get further into the game, you unlock. You're trying to unlock the better classes of cars, the Lamborghinis, Koenigseggs, Ferraris, right, Bugattis, and yeah, but yeah, it is nice, and the soundtrack too as well goes very well like with the game. Red Dead Redemption 2, probably my most played game of all time in terms of hours played. Delving into Red Dead Redemption 2, like this game, you actually feel at the cowboy world, this cowboy western world, right? And yeah, as a lot of different, activities like in the game, bounty hunting, poker, animal hunting, right? NPC conversations like are very, interesting, intriguing, and yeah, every NPC has a different they feel. I can really feel, the personality between everybody, how you talk to, and yeah. So story as well, one of the best stories like in the game that I played. Right, as well, Red Dead Online, which I didn't play, but I played very little of online, but it's there. But very impressive graphics, visually, the environment looks beautiful, right? The character designs are amazing, and yeah. Number 3, so top 3, God of War 3, right? In terms of scale, this is probably the biggest scale God of War game outside of God of War 2, but God of War 3, right? You're literally killing, trying to take down gods, right? Greek gods, right? Zeus, Poseidon, Hades, Hercules, and yeah, all those gods that you hear through legends and myths. This game does a great job of bringing them to real life, right? Or like the game, and yeah, as Kratos, right, is super. I really feel the OPness, to Kratos, right? He is super overpowered, and yeah. Various boss fights, again, like I said, Poseidon, Hades, the Ice Scorpion, the Crystal Scorpion, and yeah, lots of different, probably the best enemy design that I've seen in the game. Cyclops, Chimeras, Centaurs, Minotaurs, and yeah, but epic, super epic, and as well, new game plus bonuses, challenge modes. And number 2 is a game like on my PC, Hyper Void, which I play every time I go to my PC. Hyper Void, right? So 3D shooter, right? You play as this jet, and you literally only have three weapons at your at disposal. But the game is very much about avoiding trying to avoid being hit, And yeah, it is super suspenseful, extremely suspenseful. I constantly and super addicting, right? As the game puts you through different loopholes, projectile loopholes, right? Puzzle loopholes, and yeah, Hypervoid as well. Sound, that a sound design, the soundtrack is amazing. It is amazing. So my favorite game of all time is Skyrim. Skyrim, massive scale, right? Tons of exploration, lots of different powers you get, right? You can be lots of different things. Werewolves, mages, vampires, right? Sorcerers, and yeah. But Skyrim, it is amazing. And as you interact like with different NPCs, right? You see the world, the different factions like in the world, the enemy motivations, and yeah, enemy designs, enemy variety is amazing, right? And DLC content, DLC content is amazing, and yeah, and as you use more power, so as you use the abilities, you gain more XP, and the upgrade tree, it is huge, a massive upgrade tree, and I highly recommend Skyrim, right? It's my favorite game of all time. I'm gonna put God of War 3 over it, but I said okay, Skyrim it is bigger and it's more. But Skyrim. So yeah, top 50 games of all time. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.